Welcome to the second installment of the Menopause Plate Eating Well After Cancer. This webinar is looking at hot flashes and vasomotor symptoms. My name is Katie Johnston and I'm a CoreU registered dietitian, and I have Samantha Cushen, a CoreU registered dietitian, here with us, who will be bringing us through the webinar series. Today, we're going to be looking at what vasomotor symptoms are, why they happen, and how to eat well to manage vasomotor symptoms. And then we're going to be looking at supplements and vasomotor symptoms as well. So what are vasomotor symptoms? Vasomotor symptoms are perhaps the most common symptom of the menopause. They are commonly known as hot flashes and night sweats, and they can leave you feeling hot and bothered and could disturb your sleep. How common are vasomotor symptoms? Well, 75% of people report experiencing a hot flash or a vasomotor symptom. That's around 15 in every 20. And 29% of people report these as severe. So that's over 4 in every 15. Why do vasomotor symptoms happen? Well, hot flushes are commonly caused by changing hormone levels, namely estrogen, and this impacts the body's thermoneutral zone, or our temperature control that is controlled in the brain. So you can see here in premenopausal people, this thermoneutral zone is quite big, all right. In the menopause, because of the decreasing estrogen in the body, that thermoneutral zone becomes quite small, and any sort of small changes to our temperature can cause us to have a hot flash. These might be more severe or debilitating in someone that has been plummeted into the menopause because of cancer treatment, such as surgery or an endocrine therapy. So why do they happen? Well, the brain thinks that the body is too warm. And as a result of this, your skin temperature rises and the blood vessels open up to let the blood flow increase along your skin in order to get rid of that extra heat. Following this, your upper body will start to feel a bit hot as your heart works faster to pump blood to your blood vessels. And as a result of this, you may start to feel uneasy or dizzy, or like you're having palpitations. To get rid of the extra heat in the body, your sweat glands will open and prepare to perspire. And following this, you'll be sweaty, damp, and your brain then believes that your core body temperature is normal again, and you might start to feel a little bit cold. So these can happen during the day, but they can also happen during our sleep. And these will often jolt you awake, leading to sleep disturbances, and you may wake up in a cold or a damp bed. Disturbed sleep can lead to feelings of irritability, having difficulty concentrating, and being forgetful. And disturbed sleep can also have an impact on our diet and the food choices that we make on a daily basis. So can what you eat help with your hot flushes? Yes, you can. Certain dietary patterns, food and nutrients have been found to reduce hot flashes and night sweats, while others may trigger these symptoms. By choosing the right foods and drinks, you can potentially improve your comfort and manage these symptoms more effectively. So we're back to the Mediterranean diet again, as we mentioned in our first webinar, and it's currently regarded as one of the healthiest, most non-restrictive dietary patterns in the world. And in fact, the European Menopause and Andropause Society had reviewed different studies to understand how the Mediterranean diet can affect long and short-term menopausal health. They found that by following the Mediterranean diet for a short period, less than 12 months, that it may help to reduce symptoms like hot flushes in peri and postmenopausal women. So the physiology, or why this happens, linking diet to reduced risk of vasomotor symptoms, isn't entirely clear, so we do need more research on this. It is thought that the Mediterranean diet may help reduce night sweats and hot flushes by reducing inflammation in the body, increasing the intake of antioxidants and phytonutrients, and lowering oxidative stress. So again, what does the Mediterranean diet look like? So we have our poultry and our fish, our whole grain carbohydrates, our pulses and legumes like chickpeas, lentils, our dairy products like cheese and yogurt and milk, and our fruit and vegetable, as well as olive oil. So hot flushes and soya, and this is actually a quote from a cancer survivor here in Ireland, said there's a lot of confusion around where hormone sensitive cancers are concerned. Oh my God, the debate around soy, like what is the actual answer? So soy is a particularly controversial topic in the world of cancer, and particularly breast cancer. And we have conflicting information from differing sources that make a difficult decision as to whether include or exclude soya from your diet. And this is something that we very commonly see in clinics. There is a small amount of evidence that soy foods may help alleviate hot flushes and night sweats. So why does this occur? Well, soya foods are a popular natural alternative to hormone replacement therapy because they are rich in isoflavones, a type of phytoestrogen found in various plant foods. Isoflavones have a very similar chemical structure to the human hormone estrogen, as you can see here on the right-hand side of the screen. These isoflavones may help alleviate the effects of the drop in human estrogen on the body, and particularly that brain, potentially reducing hot flushes. But again, we need more concrete evidence. So confusion often arises around the term phytoestrogens. However, phytoestrogens are not the same thing as female estrogens. Soya foods do not contain the female hormone estrogen. They contain phytoestrogens. So where do we get our soya foods from? Well, we can get them from edamame beans. We can get them from soya mince, tofu, soya milk, or soya yogurt. So how much soya do I need to help with hot flushes? Well, in recent years, there's been many comprehensive reviews of randomized control trials that have reported around 25 to 100 milligrams per day of soya isoflavones for between 3 months to 2 years may have a positive effect on our hot flushes. But again, as I said, more research is needed around soya foods, their impact on hot flushes, and their potential side effects to draw any definite conclusions on their effects. So you can see here in one pot of soya yogurt, we have around 26 milligrams of isoflavones, 100 grams of soya mince, we have around 40 grams, and 160 grams of edamame beans, we have 25.6 grams. We can also get other nutrients from these foods, including protein, calcium, and fiber as well. So are phytoestrogens safe? Research studies involving breast cancer patients consistently show that soya foods and drinks are safe and do not increase your risk of breast cancer. In fact, there is some evidence to suggest a protective effect against breast cancer with soya and isoflavone consumption. The World Cancer Research Fund and other global cancer organizations, including the American Institute for Cancer Research and the American Cancer Society, all consider soya foods to be safe for women with breast cancer and can be included as part of a healthy diet. There is no reason to steer clear of soya foods, and there's also no reason to consider a must-have if you prefer not to include them in your diet. Just to note, and Samantha will touch on this topic slightly later on, China recently updated their reference daily intakes and set a safe upper limit of soya isoflavone intake to 120 milligrams per day. Samantha will touch on the impacts of high dose supplements. So it's important to, again, go for the food first approach and supplement afterwards. So we spoke about foods that may help and dietary patterns that may help with your vasomotor symptoms and your hot flushes. Are there foods that can make them worse? So some food and drinks may make your hot flushes feel worse or more severe, and these include caffeinated drinks and alcohol. So caffeine is found in coffee, tea, soft drinks, and a small amount of chocolate. Coffee is one of the most widely consumed beverages in the world. So the caffeine found in your morning cup of coffee has a stimulating effect on your central nervous system, meaning it increases your awakeness, improves your mood, and releases catecholamines. And these catecholamines are responsible for the body's fight or flight response and can result in symptoms including palpitations, anxiety, panic attacks, and increased sweating if high levels are present in your body. So some research suggests that a high caffeine intake can make hot flushes worse and again make night sweats worse as well. We recommend staying within the safe consumption guidelines and trying to reduce your intake of caffeine if you can. Research suggests the consumption of over 600 milligrams a day is linked to insomnia, irritability, increased blood pressure, and nervousness. The current recommendation for safe consumption of caffeine is 400 milligrams a day. So what does this translate to in terms of our common everyday drinks? So our average cup of coffee made at home contains around 90 milligrams. A double espresso that you might get in a coffee shop, the base of a latte, contains around 125 milligrams. A cup of breakfast tea contains around 50 milligrams of caffeine. A 330 ml can of cola contains around 40 grams of caffeine. A 250 can of energy drink contains around 80 milligrams of caffeine, and a 30-gram bar of dark chocolate contains 20 milligrams of caffeine. So 600 milligrams might seem like a lot of caffeine, but if we look at this menopause cycle of you don't get a good night's sleep because you have insomnia, you're having night sweats, you wake up in the morning, you need that morning cup of coffee to get you on the go, you're maybe running a little bit late, then you get into work and you have a couple of coffees to keep you going, then you get that afternoon slump, maybe a couple of hot flashes during the day. Lunchtime, you haven't had time to make anything at home, so you get a takeaway, you then get another cup of coffee. In the afternoon, you're drained, you're fatigued, you have no energy left. And when you get home, you maybe have a couple of cups of tea. And again, you go into that cycle of disturbed sleep, hot flashes, night sweats. So, in relation to this, again, looking at sort of that menopause cycle, again, 2 coffees, 3 coffees in the morning, a couple of cups of tea in the afternoon can lead you to 615 milligrams of caffeine. So again, over that safe limit. So how do we reduce our caffeine intake? Well, there's nothing magical here. Limit your teas and coffees to 1 to 2 per day. Opt for decaf options of decaf tea, decaf coffees, all of the taste, but none of the caffeine. Or try a herbal tea, such as a mint or lemon and ginger tea, if it is just out of habit that you put that kettle on mid-afternoon. So Samantha is now going to take you through supplements for vasomotor symptoms.
Thanks, Katie. So over the next couple of slides, I'm going to provide an overview of supplements that women on endocrine therapy, in particular tamoxifen, should avoid. And I'm going to focus on key herbal remedies as well that should require some caution. During the Q&A session on October 17th, myself and Katie will be offering advice on how to choose and select supplements safely, and we'll include some tips on what to watch out for as well. So although certain products are safe when taken as part of regular diet, they can cause problems when they're taken in a supplement form because they're in a concentrated synthetic form at a high dose. And these products normally, when they're found in food, can be eaten as part of the regular diet very safely. And I'm going to use soy as an example in the next couple of slides. However, vitamins themselves, just isolated vitamins, they've never been shown to control or prevent menopausal symptoms. And for menopausal symptoms, some herbal remedies have mixed results. Others have no evidence of working at all. And it's also worth noting that unlike prescription medications, these supplements, both vitamin, minerals, and herbal or botanical supplements, they are regulated in Ireland as food products. So that means they fall under food safety laws, which in turn means that the regulations are not as strict as they are for medicines. So that's worth noting when you are going to look for a supplement. So the first one I wanted to point out was black cohosh. Black cohosh is a botanical or herbal dietary supplement, and the compounds within this, or the compounds that are within this herb that are responsible for exerting, I suppose, an effect on decreasing hot flushes or decreasing hot flashes, the compounds within the black cohosh, it's not fully understood how it actually does this, but it's thought that it can exert an estrogenic activity. So it can actually, I suppose, stimulate estrogen receptors within the body. It has been shown, though, to interfere with tamoxifen and how tamoxifen is metabolized in the body. And for this reason, we would say avoid black cohosh while you're on tamoxifen. There is no safe dosage for this herb while you are on tamoxifen, but there's no safe dosage at all for any type of breast cancer survivor or cancer survivor in general. There's insufficient evidence as well to support that it actually does decrease hot flushes. The evidence is very conflicting. There can be possible side effects from taking high doses of black cohosh, particularly around liver failure and inflammation of the liver and problems with your gastrointestinal tract as well. A lot of the big organisations like the British Menopause Society, the NICE guidelines from the UK would say avoid black cohosh if you're taking tamoxifen. The next one I wanted to point out that it's very, very popular would be turmeric, which is also known as curcumin. It's a spice known for its colour and its flavour when you're adding it to foods, in particular to curries. And turmeric, I suppose, over the last couple of years has been touted as this superfood, that it can fight cancer and fight depression, anxiety, and lots more conditions. However, recent research has actually pointed out that it can possibly interact with tamoxifen. Now, we do need more research on this particular herb. However, the research is pointing in the direction that it can interact with tamoxifen and in its supplement form. And I'm stressing this because this is safe to take in a food in its food form. So in its actual spice, if you're adding it to food, adding it to your dinners, adding it to your dishes, your recipes, that is safe. It's when you take turmeric in a supplement form, in a concentrated pill or a powdered form, it is best avoided, especially if you're on tamoxifen. And as I will say again on the next slide, when it comes to supplements, if you are considering taking any sort of homeopathic, natural, herbal remedy that hasn't been prescribed to you, please consult your doctor, your dietitian, or your specialist nurse, because even though it might be natural, natural does not mean it is safe, especially for people who have survived cancer, gone through cancer treatment, and are now on endocrine therapy. So please do consult your doctor. And on the next slide, I have ginseng. And ginseng is a type of herb that can interfere with how your body can process certain medications. And again, the research is evolving here in relation to ginseng and tamoxifen. It is thought that what ginseng can do is it can block the action of specific enzymes in your body, and those enzymes are needed to break down drugs like tamoxifen. So if you're taking something or a medication like tamoxifen that relies on special enzymes in the body to break it down and to work properly, it's best to avoid ginseng, especially in a high concentrated form in a pill or a herbal botanical supplement, because it can interact. So please avoid ginseng as well while you're taking tamoxifen. And the final herb here I wanted to mention is St. John's wort. St. John's wort is a herb that's been used for years, and it's often used to treat depression, anxiety. From a menopausal point of view, it's been used to treat hot flushes and sleep issues. However, due to some of the properties within St. John's wort, it can interact with cancer medications in particular, including tamoxifen. It can make them less effective in the body. So that is why we would say avoid St. John's wort while you're taking tamoxifen as well. There are also lots of other supplements. And again, for the purpose of today's webinar, we're only touching on a few of the main ones that women would be reporting to Katie in the clinic. However, during the webinar on October 17th, we will go through these in a lot more detail. And especially if you want to submit your questions, to the Q&A session ahead of time, and if you want to ask questions around particular herbal supplements that you're using. But other supplements that are emerging as supplements to be cautious or to avoid while you're on tamoxifen: sage, red clover, maca root. These are all emerging to be unsafe during endocrine therapy. And again, if you look at any of the breast cancer pages on any of the major international cancer websites, they often warn women on breast cancer medications to avoid these natural remedies. These natural remedies have the potential to interact with your drugs, and we don't want to make your tamoxifen or your endocrine therapy any less effective. And so that's why it's best to avoid these, whether they're in a single format, like you buy sage or red clover by itself in a pill-based format, or if they're included in a menopause dietary supplement. So any of the supplements that have Meno at the title of the supplement, look at the label and see if any of these are in the ingredients list. And if they are, it's best to avoid. And Katie has touched on soy and the safety around soy. Soy in a food form is perfectly safe. It's when certain products are taken in a supplement form, that is where we need to, I suppose, err on the side of caution. There is limited evidence here regarding safety of isoflavoin supplements for breast cancer survivors. The effects of these supplements can vary because different products use different amounts of isoflavones. They use different types of isoflavones, so they're not all equal. Soy supplements, they can often contain really high doses, much higher doses that you'd find naturally occurring in food. What we've found from doing, I suppose, audits on all the supplements in Ireland even, is that a lot of the supplements on the market targeted towards menopausal women contain varying amounts of isoflavones, anywhere from 15 milligrams per tablet to 1,500 milligrams per tablet. And why I want to stress the dosage is that if you were to take a portion of tofu, so a 3-ounce portion of tofu, that would contain roughly 20 milligrams of isoflavones. However, a lot of the supplements, as I've mentioned, if you took one supplement even that has added isoflavones, you could be getting 1,500 milligrams of isoflavones just from one supplement alone. So you have to be very careful when you're taking, especially it's the combination menopausal supplements, the dietary supplements, that's where you need to err on the side of caution. Sometimes they might not even say isoflavones on the label. They might have it under a different term that you might not be familiar with. And this is something that we can go through with you on the Q&A session on October 17th. So what we would recommend here is avoid concentrated forms of isoflavones in a supplement form. Isoflavones from food is safe. So if you want to take your soy yogurts, your tofu, perfectly safe. The use of high dose isoflavones, like what we would consider high dose, is anything over at least 100 milligrams per portion, particularly if it's consumed in combination with your HRT, should not be recommended for women with breast cancer until we have stronger evidence to confirm their safety. And that is the problem with these supplements. We don't have enough research to say that they are safe. So what we would say with all these types of supplements, whether they are vitamin, minerals, or herbs, and if you're using them to treat a hot flush or night sweats, please seek medical advice before you do consume them. Because a lot of the time, myself and Katie, we've heard this time and time again, that women aren't talking to their medical team about these supplements. Please do, because we will try and help you get a safer alternative where possible.
Thanks, Samantha. So that brings us to the end of our second webinar supporting vasomotor symptoms during the menopause. So just some key takeaways for you. Be calm, the hot flush will pass, and you're not alone. Around 75% of people will experience hot flushes, and again, 29% of those will be severe. Aim to follow a Mediterranean diet high in whole grain carbohydrates, fruit and veg, as well as oily fish. Soy is safe to eat, but avoid the high dose supplements and try and reduce your caffeine and alcohol intake. Not only will it help your hot flushes, but it will help your sleep and improve your mood too. So the Irish Cancer Society offers services and supports through a range of means. They have a support line with the free phone number on the screen there. They also have daffodil centres in 13 hospitals nationwide, offering counselling, peer support, patient education, practical and financial solutions, as well as publications and some really, really beneficial information on their website. As we've mentioned throughout this webinar, the final part of this series is a live webinar with a Q&A session with myself and Samantha on Thursday, the 17th of October at 1 o'clock. Scan the QR code using the camera function on your phone or the link in the description below. And please send any questions that you might have, be it around supplements, be it around food, to researchadmin@irishcancersociety.ie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.